It starts. Tobias is recording the call. Did you click that?
Yeah, I tried it.
Did you click that?
You're gonna be all over the internet now.
Okay. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling like the outer layers of me are fine, but I'm feeling like I have a very hard time to connect with people today. And also depending on which people, like I would love to connect really deeply with someone and actually, have a meaningful exchange. And I don't mean that with words, I just mean it, really meet somebody. Yeah, other than that, I'm pretty alright, I think.
You don't feel like that with someone in your life or currently?
Mm. Well, it's hard to say. The last 2 weeks, I got so in my body, I became so much myself. And after that channeling or that parts work, I kind of felt a bit off. My mind felt scrambled and all of these things. But now I don't feel like somebody else is in my mind and my thoughts. I do feel, maybe I don't feel completely myself, but I feel much better than yesterday, for example. Look, I'm more or less hanging on people. When somebody walks into the room, my attention goes to them a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. It's good for me to spend lots of time alone, to make my own food, to eat by myself, to do what I think is good. That's keeping my boundaries, to be honest. But then I also need people to come into my world, basically, or energy to come in. So I'm like, either I lose myself and get some energy, from the surroundings, or I don't lose myself, but I'm cut off from energy as well. But I want to have my boundary, and I want that. I don't want my energy to leak out all the time. I want to be able to cultivate energy inside me. I want to.
So so if your attention goes to people, right? So what is it? Why do you consider boundary to be? How do you see boundary actually?
I see a boundary more or less as putting my own plans for the day, desires, thoughts, at least equal with all other people or above that.
Yes.
And also deciding to, that I basically in a way judging people, like if what somebody else says or wants from me, if
you
that
might not like.
Huh?
You might not like. Or
exactly. If my family's like, we want to eat together, but I'm like, I don't want to eat together. Or somebody wants to talk about something. Huh?
Your family? How is that specifically? So how's that specifically received in your family? If you express that.
Most of the times it's all right.
So what?
It's all right. Received
Okay.
all rightish. I eat when I want, basically. But sometimes there is some kind of, if somebody cooks for everybody and we want to eat together, basically, they don't necessarily understand why I wouldn't want to eat with them. Yeah.
How do you feel then?
Huh?
Do you feel okay with that? How do you feel if they don't understand or if they show, that they're confused, for example? Do they ask? Why is it that do they ask for explanation, or is it like, okay, but
They're okay, but a bit bummed, perhaps.
Yes. Do you feel that? How do you feel when you feel that, for example, that specific?
I feel really bad, to be honest. I feel like in my family, they have like they have most of the positive energy or aspects or high ground, basically, and I feel like the bad one in a way.
Do you feel like this since forever or just recently?
Hard to say. It's probably been a long time. On some level, I think it's a long time. I can even feel it inside me.
What do you feel inside?
I feel a kind of, I don't know, sadness maybe.
If you had the opportunity to be honest with them, how would you react? What would you do if you had the opportunity to be, if you felt like you can be totally honest with them and open, basically? What would you say, or how would you react, when they feel bumped, right? For example.
I'd probably be like, you guys have a right to be bummed because, this is how we used to do things for, I don't know, hundreds of years, eat together, and you guys cook for each other and stuff, and I do too.
But this is how you think now, you understand? You're giving them the right, but what if they receive you fully, like, and it doesn't matter. There's certain situation is nothing because they still accept it, right? So maybe just the fact that they don't know how to express their own desires.
Yeah.
For example, maybe because you are who you live in with, you understand?
Yeah.
So you come.
Yeah. I actually have a better way of expressing it, what I feel like it is. I feel like it is this. They have their own kind of happy bubble. But there's something so extremely inhibiting and ugly in that situation, which I can't put my finger on.
Because they're not authentic. That's the thing you can put finger on, because people that act happy actually, it's not just like, it's a play pretend, right? It's disgusting for a real person. It's literally disgusting, and it feels bad in our bodies, understand? Because they literally lie to themselves.
Yeah.
Because no one is positive only. Anyone that's positive is actually super negative also. Also, I mean, he has integrated a negative. This is what positive people consider me positive, but I'm super dark because I know the negative, understand? Because negative is part of me. When you transform the negative into the positive in a way, that's positive in a way. It's not even like
Yeah. And I feel like if I'm myself, I'm actually kind of destroying them in a way.
How do you think they live, actually? Do you think they're happy? Do you think, how do you?
I'd say all of them are partly happy because they're not completely in denial or something. They do have their sides, but I think all of them are like kind of driving on one or two wheels of a car.
What are you doing? Driving? I'm sorry, I'm boiling. Can you wait for me a second? I'm boiling potatoes.
Hey, don't throw away the water. It's good to water your plants, somebody told me today.
With what? With
potato water. Not the
I
boiling
don't
water.
have plants.
You should get some.
Yeah, I should.
Even talking, I've talked about my family so many times. Even this is taking me away from me. It's like,
okay.
I'm like,
yeah, reminding yourself. Yeah, no, I wanted us to find solution to some things, but I think that you already mature enough, and I think you're already like going through some stuff. And I think that, just like returning now, like to other ways. I could give you like some advices on how to actually approach situations like that. You understand? Meaning how would I solve it, for example? If I feel like that, and stuff like that. But basically, if you understand their level of awareness, if you understand that they are basically afraid, just afraid to face some
Yeah.
aspects of life. You can understand that fear is like a small child.
Yeah.
So they're basically children. You understand?
That's it, actually. Yes, that's what I found out the last days. Like, when I see myself as, like, let's say, the guy without work in a world where everybody has work, the son when somebody is my father, when I'm like, when I don't have to give, when others have to give, then I see myself as like less
Mm-hmm.
than people around me, but they actually can't help me or give me stuff or do anything like that because they themselves are actually, because maybe in some regards I am more aware than them.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And so as long as I feel like the eyes are on me, and I need to like comply and cater to them, and like, in order to not feel bad about myself, um, that's how long I will stay in a crappy situation. But if I'm like, yes, you guys know how to make money and you guys seem happy and you guys, do this, but I also know that um, that when there's like a conflict of interest, I know I want to do something that makes me happy or that would empower me, and you guys are not helping me with that,
Yes.
then I won't again question myself, but then I'm going to be like,
What's heavy about this all, for example? What's heavy? Is there anything heavy for you now? I feel that
yes.
so that you're getting more and more confident, however, but okay, what is it?
Mm, the heaviness to me is that I feel mm, like somebody has been trying to take or taking my ability to survive away.
To do what?
To survive.
Mm-hmm.
Show my surroundings how defensive I am in
Yes.
some regard and how much they are threatening my survival.
Yes. Yes. How much you hate them, basically, or something like that. Do you say, would you, how much, it's not them, but their behavior, let's say, some part of them.
Yeah, I hate being in extreme insecurity, and it's like when you're being poisoned. Nobody's actually attacking you, and you don't know who does it, but you're getting poisoned and you don't know where to turn to like stop it. That's about how I feel about my surroundings, society, and stuff.
Well, you can create the antidote within you.
Can I?
Yes, you are already.
I'm basically suppressing my natural anger, and it's a
What if you don't have
combination.
it that much?
Huh?
What if you don't have it that much? What if you are intelligent enough to accept things and to learn to accept and transform things?
Well, I understand, but to accept like dependency and being deceived and stuff,
Mhm.
it keeps me from grounding, because I'm like childish kind of our moment, and now I'm like "Ugh." I would need to like slap everybody around me a few times
Yeah.
across the room to be like, what's wrong with you idiots? Can't you
Yeah.
see what's happening? How can you live? How can you like support and joyfully keep this going when it's so detrimental to each person, and especially, for example, myself, for my self-awareness and my trust in myself and my abilities in myself? Like, how can the abilities of each person and their personal well-being not be like the focus of our everyday lives? And I'm like, but it's so many layers and so tricky back and forth shit. And
It's okay to only care about yourself now.
yeah, I feel like I don't have the past to support my future. It's like anything grand or anything strong that I want to make right now, everybody could be like, but look at how you were yesterday. And why didn't you do that yesterday? Anything that you want, you can't
How
have
would
that
you
stuff.
respond to that? Okay, so there's a thought in you that says that, okay? It's not them. It's your own personality, right?
Mm.
How do you feel about, how would you respond to that with the integrity you have now,
Um,
the mindfulness you have now, thoughtfulness?
oh, I'm having a really hard time with this, I'm telling you, because being like, once being not able to help myself, I feel like kind of burned me, stamped me, kind of, victim. That's the real me. And if I try to, what do I build this? What do I build strength on? What do I build,
Yes.
resilience on? Saying no on.
On self-parenting.
Huh?
Okay. On self-parenting.
Okay.
On your consciousness. On your conscious. Because now you're in an environment where you cannot basically express gratitude, express, because you're not being understood, I feel, because they cannot receive you, understand? They're basically emotionally illiterate.
And when I think about the future, I think about things in front of me, and it's like this 3D picture. And that's why I'm like, it's like,
So how's the past? How's the future?
the past is like a stone which still wants to drag me to the bottom of an ocean. It's like the past is pulling me back to it. It's like, stay small, stay a victim. It's like also stay in the past, don't go forward into the future, don't develop yourself, don't leave these people.
Yeah.
Don't change stuff, don't destroy stuff, don't say no. Like, a lot of me is been taught, I think, to just stay in the past, stay how things are.
What's wrong about that? Okay, there's a lot of wrong what you just said. What's wrong about being small and dependent?
It's just extremely limited. It's gonna keep me in the same place for my whole life, basically.
You can't be that person now. Just be aware of that. Even if you go back to the past, you're emotionally traveling. You're still carrying your consciousness. You don't have to worry. You're not gonna get 5-year-old if you're. What about the future?
Mm.
I see a smile. It doesn't matter in the end, but let's explore that too for a second.
The future. Oh. That I really want, that I need things to change, and I need to be seen, and I need to be taken more seriously, and
Your vision, maybe, not you. I believe that this is what I feel. Do you think that's the case? Do you think that you want your vision to be taken seriously?
both, I think.
Yourself too? Mhm.
Myself for sure too.
What is you actually then? What is it that you want them to take seriously of you?
I think One big thing is like the ability I want to be taken seriously as somebody who can also who can walk up to a person and want anything from them and demand anything from them, and who cannot just be cast aside. So if I'm like, this has a lot to do with myself, of course, but if I go to my family now and I'm like, guys,
I feel sleepy.
so I need to also stop, caring about,
This is your desire to organize. Okay, this is the way you organize your day. It's not the way old people do it. You literally ask them to validate your needs to organize your day the way you want it, but it's totally different from person to person. That's why they can't relate to that. You understand? Because you're literally, what you're asking them is like a little child, please organize my day. But now you have your consciousness. Now you have your parent self, right? What you're doing now is basically that, right? You need that to be organize your day this and that way, but it's not that all people need this, right? So you're asking from them to actually validate and actually accompany your dream, but it's your dream. You understand? Even when it comes to like born biological family, we're not supposed to end with them.
Okay. And right now I'm thinking like,
yeah, I feel like I feel like you need to prove something. I feel like you're looking to prove something to them, which is fine, but sometimes it can drain you, but I think I think it's more or less authentic to you at the moment, but be careful, because money, as I said, might not be, maybe I'm just saying, I'm not saying you don't want money or anything. I'm just saying that money basically are just paper, you understand? They're irrelevant to our existence whatsoever. You might need what money can get you, understand? Recognition, comfort,
yeah,
safety, whatever. They give you like confidence. It's not money, understand?
Yeah. You see, there can be very wonderful people.
But we have to work through the guilt, actually. We have to work through the guilt of doing that. And I don't know if you understand, but guilt is really like socially created. Like it has nothing to do with human existence, really. It's really a social construct. Like, so if love was conditional, do they really deserve your attention on that level? That's one thing to ask. One thing is, I understand your need for family, you understand for belonging. But as soon as you find a belonging within yourself that will be strong enough, and at the same time understand the way where they are coming from, you can feel that you can turn to them anytime. Because if people cannot explain their level of awareness or their path or anything of that, if they're like, I don't know, do you feel like they are living mechanically? Like, do you think they're living like that, or?
No, I think they're living quite humanely and with compassion and things, and also with a certain understanding and stuff. But I just feel
It's stuck.
They're all running away from bigger discomfort,
Yes.
confrontation, especially personal power and strength.
Okay, so I want you to know that, what, besides these fears that lie in the shadow, actually, the shadow is also the egotistical reasons we do the way we do that actually hide these fears.
Okay, so you mean they're the motives for the way they act, the way they do?
Yes. But they're subconscious motives. They don't understand that, your mother will act that she's only good because she's actually afraid of being seen as, someone that is afraid, firstly, of not being loved, and then not being loved, you understand? For example, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Leave them, and they're like,
oh, I'm going to give you a big lesson now.
I'm like the only person who understands their suffering. from the inside, and who sees it and who might be able to like save them in a way, you know.
Okay. So there, okay, as I said, like fear, like do you think you're capable, or at this moment, okay, the response or the solution I'm getting, like I would use basically, because besides like the emotional travel and the things that we can consider going to the depths of stuff and how to like transform and how to find out our, you know, like transformation and liberty in a way, you can also right, if you see their inner child is, as I said, it's who they are. If they don't know how to recognize fear and regulate fear and grow above fear, right, and protect fear, right, if they don't know how to do this, they will depend on you, right, because they have never consciously regulated their fear, you understand? They've never observed with their conscious mind and awareness their fear, right? Because when we observe, this is the benefit of meditation in a way, but when we observe, you understand that you're not your fear, right? The more you meditate in a way, the more you understand that, you know, you can feel it, right? If you feel it, if you hear it, if you see it, it means that it is you, but it's also not you, right?
Yeah.
So you may choose, right, to do anything you want with it, basically, with your conscious mind, with your consciousness. Another thing I want you to know, okay? Children are very easily lied to, but it's not a lie. It's really truth. It's just that the healthier you are, the more you can be present with them. I can leave my inner children, right? I can leave my child over there, but I can go to it and tell him, like, I will always be here, right? Why Teal does that? You understand? When you say the inner child, I will always be there for you. You understand? It really is like that, but you really leave a part of you there forever. So that you and them will never feel separated if you try to understand their inner child, you understand? If you try to understand their level of awareness, if you try to understand why is it that they fear it so much, and you validate that.
It's interesting. Yes, that's very good, because it's similar to my girlfriend, you know. I'm just realizing this extends to like I dreamt of an old school friend of mine today who had hurt me when I was a child. This extends to almost
Huh?
everybody, and, you know, even government bodies, and, you know, the economy.
They do what?
The economy, like everything out there. If I treat it as like they know well, and I need to I need to go the core. You know French, right? D'accord.
Okay. I thought okay. I thought the core. Okay.
Then
What about the decor? What do you need to do about the decor?
no, d'accord, like
Okay, the core. Okay. Okay, to agree. Okay, yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
in line with them. Then I'm always gonna feel like the inadequate idiot, you know, who can't live up to like that what that child wants me to do. But if
Well, you
I
have to get used to that as well. But okay, that's another session. But you know, it's like you have to go with the shame. Okay, the shame with not being. No, there's no shame in it. Basically, you're unique. You understand? You just want to like belong, but you think you associate belonging to being same as the rest. You understand? But you can belong on a multicultural level where everyone is unique yet united. You can see it that way as well, right?
yes,
This is, yeah.
others are not faulty, therefore I'm faulty in a way.
I see. Yeah, but that's their projection. You have to understand that there's a subtle projection of this. You understand?
Yeah.
It's a subtle abuse. It's a very subtle abuse.
Is it?
Yes.
In what way?
Because they're not taking it on them, you know, they're not, but they are actually like, they're always projecting, right? Just, they can like, even if they, whenever, okay, I'll tell you, if a person doesn't respond to you, if it's like being neglectful, right? Or being like, you know,
Yeah.
he's doing projection again and deflection. Because he's like minimizing you and, you know, and Basically, like in his mind, they're doing it. And then you're doing it on a subtle, very subtle telepathic mental level.
Yes.
And as a child, you receive everything. Mental level. Remember that. As a child, you receive everything, right? So you're like thoughts, oh, it's my fault. It's their fault, actually. I mean, not about anyone's fault. I mean, it's their fault. It's their thought.
I get it. You know what now? I'm here now as I am. I can't explain it back to like my childhood. Some trauma interrupted that story of who I am. And now I can't tell you why I deserve to make money or why I, want to be happy.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
There's some big clamps on my story. Yeah.
It's because you don't see the value. You don't see the value because you've not seen the preciousness yet. But I have to. So, for example, I'll let you know what's the cut. For example, I'll give you an example. When you say something and there's a reaction like this of the soma, right, the body, that is your body, your sorrow, your trauma, basically, your wound is surfacing, and you're putting it back. It's totally normal because I'm very rational, so I actually more empower people than actually guide them to the emotional traumas. Because especially when we're recording, and especially when it comes to you, I love communicating with you in this way, and I think you and I are more rational beings. We are fitted to each other, and probably if we would like be emotionally connected and physically near, I would probably in time, But I don't. I rarely now crush. You understand? I rarely now crush, especially with people. I've always done very private work. You understand?
I'll crumble.
Crush. You understand? I rarely go. I'm not an emo. As I said, like I have also like. I work on my emotions, but very privately. Understand? Because I can also disconnect. This is my trauma as well. Okay, I'm very also mindful. You understand? So I can very easily disconnect. But this is what but you have to allow that sometimes, you understand? That means you have to be very, very, very vulnerable. We can do that also, but maybe another time. Because I can drop with you sometimes, definitely with you, it's safe because still you carry it, but maybe there are layers of you that are not safe. That's why I feel the way I feel. For example, maybe there are layers of you that might turn into switch into it's your problem, you understand? Yeah. And I'm like, because when I drop there, right, when we as therapists, we go into the emotional with you, we basically are very open and receptive to all your layers. You understand? So when I'm there, you can actually manipulate me.
Gotcha.
If I let you, right?
I'm actually, I used to be pretty good at going into emotion. Like if I could go to a therapist for the first time. Yeah. I could just talk about anything. I could cry and have some kind of security and protection, Yeah. And I don't think it's actually fake. I just think it's because I've been so long in this open wounded state that I'm now that some of the wounds have been closed. I'm just like, oh, thank God. And now I'm just going at a different pace. But yeah, I understand. It's the same with my girlfriend, somebody on some level you might trust them or you might be able to speak with them, but their subconscious parts have their own agenda, their own.
That's the boundary. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the boundary. Yeah. Actually, I understand now with you as well because I'm always guilting myself why can't you? But I cannot but I understand. It's okay. Never mind. Yeah.
Totally fine. And because there will come a point if I heal, where suddenly we'll be similarly safe to each other, for example. So I would feel safe with you and you would feel safe with me. If one person is further in some way, then that person would kind of need to see how far it wants to go with the other person. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Me no talkie so much normally.
Huh?
Me no talkie so much normally.
You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're a perfect client.